economic neglect. This is what the fifth administration, under the tutelage of His Excellency President Dr. William Samoei Ruto and ably assisted by Professor Kindiki, have set out to reverse. However, today, we stand at the precipice of a new dawn, a moment in time where the winds of change are blowing through Nyanza, ready to propel it to the greatness it so rightly deserves. It is indeed true, ladies and gentlemen, that we have a problem. Nyanza, we have a problem that has lingered for far too long. For over 60 years, we have been talking about what is wrong with this region, talking about what we plan to do and how we will do it and when we will do it. And yet, here we are, 61 years after independence, where nearly half of our people still live in abject poverty, struggling to meet food and other most basic needs. Allow me, Your Excellency, with your permission, to enumerate just but a few of those challenges. One of the most fundamental concerns that we have here is youth unemployment. Youth, as we all know, are the backbone of any society, and they represent the future of this region. But how can we expect them to thrive when the opportunities to develop their potential are so scarce? When we look at the youth in our towns, the villages, and the cities, we see brilliant minds, energetic hands, and hopeful hearts, but they are often left idle, unfortunately, without adequate access to employment, skills development, or investment in business ventures, and yet their talents remain untapped. Today, ladies and gentlemen, 61 years after independence, it is regrettable that 40% of the population in Nyanza lives in abject poverty, unable to meet even the most basic food needs. This is not just a statistic. It is the reality that we must change working together. We must not allow another generation to be left behind. The poverty levels are stark reminder of how much we still need to do and how much potential lies within our reach if we can leverage the resources and opportunities within our disposal. The region's economic contribution paints a grim picture, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine that Nyanza counties, all put together, contribute just 9.3% to Kenya's manufacturing sector. Compare and contrast that with Nairobi County, which accounts for 27.5% contribution to our GDP. On average, in the 6 counties of Nyanza, agriculture is at 23.3% compared to other areas whose contribution is 7.6%. These numbers, ladies and gentlemen, are more than just statistics. They represent the lives, they represent the potential untapped, and they represent the future delayed. These disparities, good people, extend beyond economics. Nyanza has the highest under 5 mortality rate in the country, at the threshold of 54 deaths per 1,000 live births, compared to the national average of 41 deaths per 1,000 live births. According to the Demographic and Health Survey Report 2022, Migori has the highest 73 deaths per 1,000 live births, Siaya 63 deaths, and Homa Bay 61 deaths. Health infrastructure, again, unwarrantably, in Nyanza is woefully inadequate. Kiambu alone boasts 13 level 4 hospitals, while the entire 6 counties of Nyanza have 5. The average life expectancy of Nyanza is 58 years, compared to the national average of 67. The implication of this, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you are from Nyanza here and you are more than 58 years, you are living on borrowed time. These are statistics from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Water access is another glaring challenge. While 22.7% of households in Nairobi have piped water to the main house, in Nyamira and Kisii, it is a mere 0.9% and 1.01% respectively. These are not just figures on a report. They are the daily struggles of our people. And yet we have Lake Victoria, Africa's largest lake and the world's second largest freshwater lake. It remains an underutilized resource that could revolutionize the region's economy. How I wish we joined hands so that we can attain full capacity utilization or optimal capacity utilization of Lake Victoria. This lake should be a lifeline. It should be an engine for economic growth. It should be our pride. With 14 million people in the Lake Region economic bloc dependent on the lake for their livelihoods, Your Excellency, we cannot afford to continue this disservice to ourselves. The recurring floods of Kano Plains and Nyando and the unfortunate fatalities caused by hippos in the lake cannot be the legacy of such a powerful natural resource. This must end, and it must end now. Lake Victoria is the gateway to the East African community and the larger Great Lakes region with a market of over 100 million people. This, Your Excellency, presents a business opportunity in inter-county and intra-country logistics and trade. Spanning the 3 East African countries, it offers opportunities for lake transport to move commodities like oil and agricultural produce right from here within Nyanza to the entire East African region. By encouraging intra-regional trade and enhancing connectivity between counties and neighboring countries, we will open new markets, enhance supply chains, and facilitate the exchange of both goods and services. Creating favorable policies and trade partnerships will build stronger economic ties in the East African region. The vast resources of Lake Victoria present immense opportunities for the fish processing sector. By modernizing processing plants, improving quality control, and expanding value-added products, the region can tap into global markets, thereby contributing to both economic growth and sustainable development. The Lake Victoria Ring Road, which has been envisaged for quite a long time, would be a transformative infrastructural project for this region, Your Excellency. It will boost tourism, it will boost regional trade, it will facilitate interconnectivity and access between the counties of Nyanza and beyond. It will serve as a critical economic artery, facilitating faster transportation and opening up trade corridors across the entire East African region. It is something that we need to pursue to a logical conclusion. The other glaring example is the Nyanza tourism circuit, which is part and parcel of the wider Western tourism circuit, Your Excellency. It offers a rich tapestry of cultural, historical, and natural attractions. This circuit, Your Excellency, encompasses several counties, including Kisumu, Homabay, Siaya, Migori, Kisii, Nyamira, each contributing unique experiences for travelers. Some of the key attractions within the circuit are the Kisumu Museum, the Impala Sanctuary, the Hippo Point, the Tabaka Soapstone Carvings, the Kisii Highlands, the Kitmikai, Nyamira Tea Zones, Ekenyoro Cultural Sites, and Ruma National Park, just to mention but a few. The Ministry of Tourism, Your Excellency, you are aware, has put in place plans to facilitate integration of this circuit with major tourist destinations such as the Masai Mara. And this is a step in the right direction, being spearheaded by the 5th administration under the leadership of President William Ruto. For decades, our fate has been dictated by the politics of the day in this region. Our fortunes have risen and fallen at the whim of political shifts and turns, innuendos, if I may call it, instead of being built on the solid foundation of economic progress driven by solid investments on the ground. But let me say here today, our story does not have to continue like this. The prosperity of Nyanza must be defined by economics, not only politics. Whereas the national policy narrative has been that resources follow functions, unfortunately, here in Nyanza, the reality has previously been that resources follow voting patterns. This may be our past, but it cannot be our future. The people of Nyanza deserve better. Your Excellency, your presence at this investment conference representing His Excellency the President himself, who ought to have been the chief guest here, but seconded you to represent him at this conference due to other extraneous factors which interfered with his schedule, is a clear testimony that this fifth administration wants to shift the paradigm to a new era of inclusivity and a new narrative where resources are determined by investments. It is possible because Nyanza has produced great minds. We have engineers, we have got doctors, surveyors, artists, lawyers, architects, and countless other professionals. Yet this region is still trapped in a cycle of poverty. In fact, we have been boasting that you don't need to throw a stone when you are in Nyanza because you run the risk of hitting the head of a professor. But how I wish that in the not too distant future, if you throw a stone in Nyanza, you run the risk of hitting the head of an investor. Our attraction must not be based on the count of votes, but rather the countless ventures and opportunities and our return on economic investments, Your Excellency. It is therefore time to break away from the shackles of political slogans and focus on what truly matters, which is the regional comparative advantages of the Nyanza counties, investment-friendly opportunities, and unique selling propositions informed by the comparative advantages. We need a situation where we see SACCO memberships outnumber political party memberships. That is when Nyanza will be in business, so that we foster a culture of economic participation over and above political considerations. Consider the Kuria region, for example, which boasts immense agricultural potential driven by fertile soils, abundant rainfall, and a highly enterprising population. This, Your Excellency, is one of Kenya's leading producers of sweet potatoes. Yet the Getonganya sweet potato processing factory in Kuria West operates at only a fraction of its 40-ton capacity utilization potential. This inefficiency limits job creation. It reduces farmers' incomes and allows middlemen to exploit local producers. There are abundance of opportunities for public-private partnerships, Your Excellency, by way of direct foreign capital inflow. Again, another case in point is the livestock sector. Kuria is renowned for high-quality cow hides, yet the Karamu Abata lacks processing capacity. As a result, Your Excellency, hides are sold cheaply to middlemen. Imagine somebody buying a hide, a cow skin at 50 shillings. The same cow skin is processed and exported to Italy, and they utilize it to make 3 pairs of Bali shoes and come back to sell it to us at a whopping 50,000 per pair of shoes. It cannot continue like this. This region, Your Excellency, is also a producer of high-quality coffee. Yet limited infrastructure and processing capacity have inhibited the full potential of the people of Kisii in this regard. The sugar sector is a case well in point, once a cornerstone of regional economic growth, but is poised for powerful resurgence, hopefully, with the recent enactment of the Sugar Act 2024. The government, I'm aware, and we are aware, that has got plans of bringing in private sector investors to lease those sugar factories so that they can attain optimal capacity utilization levels for the benefit of the farmers and the wider citizenry. For Nyanza, this will be a game changer, Your Excellency, because it will enhance agricultural output, create thousands of jobs, and boost smallholder farmers' incomes. We have a wealth of untapped natural resources, and one of the greatest assets lies in soapstone mining in Tabaka within Kisii County. Known for its unique aesthetic appeal and its potential for use in a variety of industries, from sculptures to construction materials, the soapstone from Kisii is a natural treasure that we need to exploit. We also have the largest rice farming belt, Your Excellency, in Ahero and West Kano irrigation schemes. This can be revived by modernizing the industry through the introduction of better irrigation techniques, technology, improved seeds as a means of a value proposition. A survey by Egerton University's Tegemeo Institute in the recent past, Your Excellency, espoused that rural households consuming maize flour have declined to 78% in the recent past from upwards of 86%, while households consuming rice on the flip side of it has increased from 54% to 61%. Nyanza also has rich soil for cotton farming, which can support and boost the textile industry. I dream of a time when Kisumu International Airport lives up to its name, hosting flights across the globe, not just from Nairobi. These flights should carry the fruits of our labor, not human beings. The fruits of our labor, bananas, avocados, and tea from Kisii and Nyamira, fish from our lake, sugar from the sugar belt, and sweet potatoes from Korea, all destined to international markets. We have set sights, Your Excellency, on a shillings 2.1 trillion plan to extend the Standard Gauge Railway. If this comes to fruition, it will again open up the entire lake region for purposes of commerce, trade, and even mobility. Another case in point is mining, particularly at the Makalda mines in Migori County. The mines are rich in valuable minerals like gold, copper, and zinc. Yet, despite this incredible potential, they remain vastly underdeveloped. In fact, it's mind-boggling, Your Excellency, that when you visit some of the gold mining areas in Nyanza, the only evidence that you have to espouse that mining has taken place is very wide-gapping holes. Yeah? There is no indicator by way of improvement in the standards of living of the owners of the parcels of land where the mining takes place. This is a trend that we must reverse. With proper investment, technology, and expertise, we can turn the Makalda mines into a vibrant industry that not only drives economic growth for the region, but also enhances Kenya's global positioning in the marketplace. Koru Soin Dam, this, Your Excellency, would be a game changer. It would be a game changer because it would mitigate against the floods we have been witnessing in Kano. It would augment the efforts of the Sondu Miriu hydroelectric power plant by way of energy. It will facilitate last mile connectivity of water to our homes, and during dry spells, it will also facilitate irrigation for our crops. It is a project that we need to pursue to a logical conclusion. Another one is the Magwagwa Multipurpose Dam in Nyamira. This dam is designed to support a 13,000 hectare irrigation scheme benefiting the counties of Nyamira, Kisumu, Vihiga, Kericho, Bomet, and Homa Bay. In equal measure, we need to pursue this dam to a logical conclusion. I'm aware that Lake Basin Development Authority has been pursuing certain partnerships. The national government, of course, equally needs to come in and see what needs to be done, including but not limited to public-private partnerships. That dam represents a significant infrastructure in Kenya, and it would bolster both energy production and agricultural productivity in the region. I want there, as I summarize, to call all of us to action, ladies and gentlemen. The time to act is now. The challenges are real, but the opportunities are endless. Nyanza's growth and prosperity are within our reach, but it requires bold action, investment, and collaboration. And that's why we are reaching out to all stakeholders, including but not limited to private sector investors. I stand before you here today to call on all stakeholders, the national government, the county government, investors, the diaspora, professionals, development partners, name it, to join hands with us as a people of Nyanza and transform Nyanza into an economic powerhouse. This transformation, Your Excellency, will require investment in infrastructure, especially in the transportation and energy sectors. It will require skills development programs for our youth to prepare them for the job market of tomorrow. Public-private partnerships that foster collaboration between government, the private sector, and international donors, and support for local entrepreneurs in sectors such as agriculture, mining, and manufacturing. The promise of this region is immense, and it is within our power to realize it. The time for talking is over. Now is the time for action. Together we can unlock the potential of Nyanza and transform it into a thriving, prosperous region that contributes meaningfully to the economy of Kenya. With vision, determination, and strategic partnerships, we can shift from an economy of dependency to an economy of innovation and sustainable self-sufficiency. But none of this is possible without your support, good people. It is you, our investors, the donors, the partners, the professionals within our midst here, who hold the key to unlocking Nyanza's full potential. We cannot leave everything in the hands of the national and county governments. We must come in as agents of necessity to also augment their efforts. This conference, therefore, Your Excellency, is not just a gathering of ideas. In my view, and well-considered opinion, it is a birthplace of action. What we do today together will shape the future of generations to come. The investments that we make, the partnerships that we form, will not only yield financial returns, but they will also be a testimony of our belief in the people of Nyanza and the boundless opportunities in this region, and for the greater good of Kenya as a whole. We are not waiting for change. We are creating that change ourselves. We are embracing Nyanza's potential, breaking free from the chains of our past and reaching for the stars in the future. We, the people of Nyanza, are asking you all to work with us. In return, I promise one thing, that your investment will not just be measured by profits alone. It will be measured in the stories of young entrepreneurs, of farmers whose lives are transformed, of communities empowered, of infrastructure that drives growth, and of a region that rises to meet the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century. And I see a future, Your Excellency, where no young child in Nyanza struggles to survive childhood. This is our opportunity. The challenges are clear, but so are the opportunities. We have the resources, we have the people, and most importantly, we have the will to change. It's time to transform Nyanza. This will require transformational leadership, and it will require the input of all of us. The future of Nyanza starts today. The time for action is now. Yes, we can do it, and it must be done. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, with your permission, may I now have the distinguished honor and privilege to invite the host governor, who is also the chairman of the Lake Region Economic Bloc, to come forward, introduce the governors who are here, then make a few remarks, and subsequently invite the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury to introduce all the government officials present, make a few remarks, and then finally invite the CS for Trade and Investment, Mr. Lee Kinyanjui, to make remarks and invite Your Excellency to address the gathering. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, the Vice President, my dear friend and colleague, Professor Kindiki, the governors, my fellow governors who are here, Governor Jim Orengo of Siaya. Jim, can you wave to the crowd? Governor Arati from Kisii. Governor Wanga Gladys from Mutembei, and Governor Ochila Yako from Migori, Governor Ken Lusaka from Bungoma, and Governor Nyaribo from Nyamira. As you can see, the shakers and movers of change in this part of the world are these governors. Karl Marx once said that philosophers have described the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change it. Therefore, as I welcome my colleagues, the cabinet secretaries who are here, principal secretaries present, invited guests, ambassadors, and conference attendees, I am going to address you on behalf, first, of the chairman of the Council of Governors, Governor Abdullahi of Wajir, who is not here today, representing the whole of the COG, and my colleague governors who are here today. Your Excellency, I bring the apologies of my chair at the Council of Governors His Excellency Ahmed Budahi, the Governor of Wajir County, who was to be with us here today, but because of challenges occasioned by intra-connectivity, is unable to be with us, having hosted the President in his county the other day. Your Excellency, this brings to the fore the need to enhance the capacity of our airports to international standards so that as a country we can be properly connected. I will be sharing his thoughts with this congregation as I make my remarks on his behalf. And I will give the organizers his own speech, which he wanted to present here, but I think he should go into an annals of history that he gave a speech. I feel privileged, therefore, to address you on this important day of this great LREB Nyanza International Investment Conference, coming just 2 months after we hosted the 4th African Sovereign Government, Sub-Sovereign Governments Network Conference here in Kisumu, in collaboration with the African Export-Import Bank, Afri-Exim Bank, and the United Cities and Local Governments of Africa, USA of Africa, which resulted in investment deals worth $1.7 billion being signed. I am happy to report that Kisumu was not left behind and signed a $40 million financing for the construction of a pharmaceutical factory. My colleague governors from the region were here, and since then they have developed rapport and relationship with Afri-Exim Bank to look into investments in the Nyanza region as a whole. Very exactly, Your Excellency, because these important conferences, including this, are important for the economic growth of the region. We show Kisumu as a choice destination for international trade and investment conferencing as the headquarters of the Lake Region Economic Bloc. And we show the Lake Region Economic Bloc as an important market and investment opportunity for investors. On behalf of the county government of Kisumu and the LREB community, I would like to thank the organizers, our professionals from the Lake region for this vision and for choosing Kisumu as the host of this first conference organized by professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you wearing 2 hats. As Governor of Kisumu, the conference that hosts, and the chairman of the Lake Region Economic Bloc. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to welcome us all to Kisumu as the host. Today, it is my pleasure to don my LREP chair hat and to address this gathering on behalf of my colleagues at the LREP Summit. With great hope and optimism, we have all gathered in this lake city of Kisumu today to redeem this region, transform its thinking, and reclaim its lost glory. Napoleon Hill, a famous American writer, in one of his great books stated thus: "That which the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can be achieved." I do believe that what we have been doing here in the Lake Region Economic Bloc as governors is transform what we conceive and believe to achieve development in our region. For over 61 years, this nation, and particularly the LREP, Nyanza Bloc, has conceived great ideas and economic recovery strategies to catapult this great nation to the next level. We have believed quite rightly that these ideas can only be best harnessed and realized through a cohesive and unified political and collective leadership. From yesterday through today and tomorrow, we are gathered here as leaders and potential investors, partners, and people from all walks of life to explore the bloc's tipping points for the new investment opportunities available. Generally, the regional bloc boasts of a business-enabling environment that portends minimal risks to investors, courtesy of the able county governments and the Lake Region Economic Bloc. It is a leading financial hub with a range of qualified investment managers, from small niche investment firms through to the national headquarters, where several of the world's practicing wealth management firms reside. With its position, in its population of 14 million people, The bloc accounts for 40% of the Kenyan population, contributing almost 50% of the Kenyan economy, forming a formidable market for investments. The overall objective of the bloc is to leverage economies of scale and shared resources in order to grow the economy of the region and improve the livelihood of the people. To this end, we have policies and programs aimed at widening and enhancing cooperation among the member counties in economic and social development, such as agriculture, health, education, transport, and energy supply. It is therefore envisioned that this conference will unlock by stimulating investment growth across the counties in the Lake Region Economic Bloc, by bolstering economic independence, and by seizing the proposals and ideas that have been emerging in the county and making them a reality. The key development opportunities for the bloc lie in the currently unexploited expanse of the region's natural resources. There are very well-known gold deposits in Kakamega, Siaya, and Migori, as has been mentioned, that need to be fully harnessed for both job and wealth creation. Agricultural potential exists in the whole region. Migori County has a greater potential in building on sugarcane and tobacco farming, as well as fishing along the Lake Victoria coastline. Kisumu and Mutembei counties have potential for rice and cotton farming, as well as the cultivation of sorghum and sugarcane. Most of these projects form the traditional mainstay of the bloc's economy and need to be sustainably harnessed for the good of our people. Indeed, we have gone further and recognized energy and the insufficient supply of energy as one of the weakest links between this economy and the international economy. And we believe that if the national government can take steps to make sure that energy supply and production in this region is adequate, I assure you that it will help in promoting development in the area. As we have pointed out in our LRED blueprint, the natural resources of the region can also be tapped in the area of energy generation. Rivers in the region offer opportunities for the development of hydroelectric power in Sondu Miriu, in Kisumu, and Nyamira counties. Further exploration in this regard also needs to be done other rivers, such as River Kuja and River Awach. By the way, you must know the Sondu Miriu project that we are all talking about all the time, that dam was conceived in 1951 by the colonial governments. But for various reasons, it was never implemented, which I don't want to go into. But time is now for that dam that can generate so much energy to be implemented by the national government. The sugar sector remains unexploited as a major investment in the Lake region. It is a major employer of rural populations and contributes to an estimated 15% of the agricultural GDP. As a bloc, we congratulate Parliament for fast-tracking debate on the Sugar Act and the President for promptly signing it into law. This is a major outcome of the Sugar Task Force, to which LREB leaders played a crucial role. Approximately 250,000 small-scale farmers, predominantly from Lake region, operate in the sugar industry and supply over 92% of the cane milled by sugar processing companies. This underscores the importance of this sector to the region's economy. Further, Mr. Deputy President, the industry directly and indirectly employs approximately 6 million Kenyans. The sugarcane industry has additional economic impact due to its contribution to Kenya's foreign exchange through exports, such as providing inputs into other industries. The bloc envisages programs focusing mainly on enhancing job creation for youth and women, improving food and nutrition security, improving policy frameworks, and creating an enabling business environment. These projects were anchored on Kenya's Vision 30 and the Big Four agenda, and were meant to help LREB achieve its economic blueprint, broad agenda. The blue economy, ladies and gentlemen, has a great potential to contribute to a higher and faster GDP. To benefit fully from this subsector, we need innovation and growth in the marine and maritime sector. The opening of the shipyard at the Kisumu port is aimed at boosting the blue economy opportunities. Therefore, we thank the government very much and the shipyard company for initiating these making of fiberglass boats at our port here in Kisumu. The shipyard has overseen the design and building of MV Uhuru 2, which is ferrying goods to Port Bell in Uganda, and the rehabilitation of MV Uhuru 1, which is doing the same. We must invest in modern ship and boat building, which includes replacing the old-fashioned wooden boats with safer fiberglass boats. This is another impactful opportunity to invest in. So far, a number of the lake riparian counties have partnered with the Kenya shipyard to sensitize the lake operators on the benefits and need for this new boat building technology. At LREB, we have unfulfilled dream to establish a regional bank. It is a dream we must not let die. When Governor Oparanya was chairman of the Lake Region Economic Bloc, I remember him and I went to the Treasury to try and establish this bank, and we had the money, but the government Treasury could not approve a bank created and organized by the Lake Region Economic Bloc. I think now, Mr. Vice President, that issue can be revisited. I appeal to LCPL because of Pranya is now in government, together with other colleagues. I appeal to LREB members to ensure this project becomes a reality, even as we work to settle legal and legislative hurdles around it. Equally, we invite investors to buy into this dream. Another area ripe for investment is aquaculture, and much has been said about it in this conference. I will not repeat. Already we are witnessing a remarkable increase in cage fishing around the lake, especially in Homa Bay, Busia, Migori, Siaya, and Kisumu counties. This must be expanded to cover more areas. Opportunities exist in the block to unlock to the full potential of Western Kenya tourism circuit. That too has been discussed at this conference, and I hope the proposals made will be implemented. Investors keen on areas of nature and wildlife tourism, agro-tourism, water sports, and so on. This county, this region offer tremendous opportunities for that. Finally, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Deputy President, I was in Parliament for so long that sometimes I forget. Finally, Mr. Deputy President, Nyanza in general and the LREB region, we need to do two things. Identify all the key economic opportunities within the LREB, for it is only through this that the bloc shall unlock sectors with growth potential and untapped resources. Two, explore and come up with viable strategies for pooling resources and expertise among counties to attract investment, foster entrepreneurship, and stimulate economic development. Three, evaluate the regulatory framework and policy environment to identify areas for improvement and reforms that can facilitate investment and economic growth. Four, examine initiatives to enhance skills and capacities and capabilities of the local workforce to meet the demands of emerging industries and attract investment. Fifth and finally, explore ways to attract domestic and foreign investment into the region by highlighting its unique selling points, investment incentives, and investment-friendly policies, which has been the purpose of this conference. And I thank the professionals for having initiated this discussion through the good offices of Bwana Owalu. Thank you very much, fellow colleagues. And I'd now like to invite the Minister or the Cabinet Secretary to come and invite the... Who? Oh, yes, sorry, Mbadi. There were so many, I didn't know which one. But anyway. My colleague Mbadi, we were in Parliament together. I can't forget you. Thank you. Karibu.
Thank you. You know, I was saying when the professor talked of Mr. Speaker, we should understand him because he was in Parliament for 25 years. So the mind is conditioned to always addressing Mr. Speaker. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, allow me to do the following. Number one, I would want to recognize some of the leaders who are present here, because I've been informed that we have no more than 30 minutes left for our guest of honor to depart to another very important function. So amidst us, we have members of county assemblies. Could we see, by rising, the members of county assemblies present in this forum? MCS, it appears we don't have any, but speakers of county assemblies, at least I spotted one in the morning. Maybe they are somewhere else. Then allow me now to introduce members of the National Assembly present, MPs from the National Assembly. We have Honorable Kitayama, the MP for Kuria East. We have Rene Mayaka, nominated Member of Parliament. We have Honorable Nyikal, James Nyikal, the MP for Seme, is also the chairman of Dual. Dual is a very familiar name in this region. We have Honorable Aduma Uwor, the great MP for Nyakach. We have Honorable Elisha Odhiambo from GEM or GEM, depending on your accent. I think those are the members of the National Assembly. Do we have any member of the Senate? None present. Your Excellency, allow me to introduce two members of the President's Council of Economic Advisors who are present with us here. We have Professor Vincent Machuki. These are people who help in critiquing my work. The Honorable, who we were also with in the same campus, Honorable Moses Kiari Kuria. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, allow me then to introduce now the principal secretaries. And the principal secretaries, we have Susan Mangeni, is there. We have Alfred Kombudo, who is from this area, in charge of trade. We have Dr. Juma Muhwana, in charge of industry. Thank you very much. We have also my schoolmate, Joel Aromanyang, Public Works. We have Joseph Mutari, Social Protection. We have Patrick Kilemi, in charge of cooperatives. Kilemi, yeah, he has stepped out. We have Abubakar Hassan, in charge of investments. We have Betsy Njagi, in charge of blue economy. We have Dr. Esther Moria, in charge of TVETs. And finally, we have, well, not very finally, second last, John Ololotua, in charge of tourism. And finally, we have the Honorable Shadrach Mose, Solicitor General. Thank you very much. Could we clap for them? Tafadhali. Your Excellency, I know we have agreed with you to give, we have between us, cabinet colleagues, not more than 10 minutes to share. And I will introduce you all, then I will call two also, just to say a word. And I'll start with the Honorable Alfred Mutua, who is in charge of labor and human capital. Just wave to the crowd. The Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, we call him Miti, one in charge of investment, trade and industry. The Honorable, who was also the co-patron, the Honorable Migoso Gamba, in charge of education. We have the Honorable James Opio Wandai, the CS for petroleum and energy. The Honorable Dorcas Ageko Duor, who is also our Attorney General. The Honorable FCPA Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya, who is in charge of cooperatives, MSMEs. And of course, we have the Honorable Alice Wahome, the one in charge of lands, public works, housing, and urban development. So let me just call three or so, CSS, maybe four. I'll start with Alice Wahome. Just come and say hi, the crowd. And you strictly have 1.5 minutes.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, all protocols observed. Hamjambo. Good afternoon. Imagine you are quite down, there are no claps, no nothing. I have a minute, I think, because I have already made my presentation in breakaway room 1 this morning, and it will be shared with the organizers of the conference. And basically it was looking at what we have in terms of economic development here, or our projects that speak to the economic development of the region. Allow me the said minute, Your Excellency, for record to say that we have Kanyakwa affordable housing project, which is 500 units costing 1 million. I will not thereafter say how much else. Then Rumumba is ongoing, 2,348 units. We have, to save time, maybe I don't go to the units. We have a Hero interchange, Kisumu MOW, CAM. Then we have Odinga, KMTC. We have Nyando, we have, that is TVC. Nyando, we have Seme, TVC. Maseno is also going to benefit. Alego, Usonga, we have AHP there. Then we have Bondo, police line. We are working there for affordable housing. Then we have other associated projects. That is Alego, Usonga, as I have said, Ukwara, we have Yara, we have Bondo. And then in Siaya, we have Ugenya, TTI, Uguja, Siaya. This is, that is technology, Institute of Technology. We have a TTI at St. Joseph, work going on. We have University Uginga Odinga. We also have ESP markets, as you know, everywhere going on. And I confirm that even those that you have not seen coming up, mostly maybe it is just a slight delay in procurement, and we are rounding up all our procurement and will be on the ground soon. And I'm sure Governor, Her Excellency, Homa Bay Governor is a good witness of the work we are doing. Thank you very much. You will see me often on the ground or in the ground listening to what you are saying. I like the political environment obtaining currently. Thank you. So we should take that as an opportunity for development.
Thank you very much. I indulge Alice Wahome because she had a lot to tell us. Let me give another minute to Honorable James Opio Wandai.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President, and all protocol observed. Mine will be very simple. And we are all aware that for investment to happen, for investors to come calling, we need adequate, reliable, sustainable supply of energy. And that is the role that has been bestowed on me by His Excellency the President. And in this region, we have lined up a number of projects stemming from power generation to power transmission to power distribution and eventually to last mile connectivity. And these projects, we are undertaking them in every county, in every constituency, and in every ward. We have got firm instructions from His Excellency the President that as we undertake development programs, we do so without any form of discrimination. And for that matter, Nyanza is going to rise together, the entire Nyanza, including all the 6 counties. With those very many remarks, thank you very much, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. I think my colleagues are doing very well in terms of time. Let me, so that we can hear the program we have for labor and human capital development, the Honorable Alfred Mutua, in a minute, give us an overview.
Your Excellency, Deputy President, all protocols observed. I want to congratulate the planners of this investment forum because it's very good. Because when you get investment, you get industrialization. Industrialization means jobs. When you expand other people's money coming here, it means employment. In the labor sector, we're doing very well. With Kazi Kwa ground, with what Alice Wahome is doing and the construction that is going on, with Kazi Kwa Mtandao, online jobs are there. Encourage you to encourage all young people to go online and make money. And we have Kazi Maju, whereby we are taking our people overseas because Kenyan labor is premium all over the world. We've got well-educated, well-spoken, very smart, hard-working young men and women who are wanted overseas because, as you know, there are people without jobs, but also there are jobs without people overseas. For this investment forum, finally, is that we are recruiting for overseas jobs at NITA, Kisumu, today and tomorrow. So I urge you to tell your young men and women to come to NITA, Kisumu. We have all types of jobs from nursing, accounting, ICT, home care, hospitality, drivers. Please come and try your luck. Mbele iko sawa.
Thank you. Allow me at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, to invite the Honorable Migos Ogamba, the CS for Education, also to take a minute or 2. I'll indulge you to take 1.5 or 2 because you are one of the conveners of this conference.
Thank you. Thank you. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellencies, the governors here present, my esteemed colleagues, Principal Secretaries present, the ambassadors present, development partners, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Your Excellency, it is an honor and privilege to extend a warm welcome to all of you this afternoon at this inaugural Nyanza International Investment Conference. We are deeply grateful to you for taking time off your busy schedule on matters of national importance to honor us with your presence here as we work together to unveil and explore the vast investment opportunities within this region. As co-patron, Your Excellency, I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to the professionals from Nyanza who have organized this event. Your Excellency, the theme of this conference, Nyanza Rising Towards Economic Transformation for Socio-Economic Growth and Development, is perfectly aligned with Kenya's Vision 2030, the government's medium-term plan for 2023-2027, and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. It then reflects that the aspirations of the nation as we strive for sustainable and inclusive growth. Your Excellency, the sector highlighted throughout this conference, such as the blue economy, agriculture, technological innovation, energy infrastructure, and the empowerment of women and youth, are of paramount importance to our national development agenda. These are vital to our collective efforts in driving our economic progress. I am confident that dialogue, partnerships, and collaborations fostered here will make substantial contribution to the government's projection of economic targets of 5.4% in 2025. Your Excellency, a lot has been said, and we are all aligned to it, to the extent that the professionals from Nyanza have now stood up to be counted, and we are going to work hand in hand with all our partners to ensure that our region gains from the economic development of this country in order for us to achieve what we've lost passed. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, my brother Migos. Now, allow me to give a minute to FCPA Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya to speak to us. He's the one in charge of cooperatives and MSMEs, which has the potential of unlocking the potential of this region. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President, all protocols observed. I'm not going to make a long speech because I have a day tomorrow for those who will be here. But from the experience I have, ladies and gentlemen, I have been once Minister for National Development, Planning and National Development under the then our late President Mike Kibaki. And such a conference was organized in UK, London. Where Nyanza is, it was Kenya, in the national conference in London. And all cabinet ministers then and the president, we were whipped. We went to London and addressed such a gathering. Most of them, of course, you not expect blacks. They were wazungus who were there. We talked to them. We spent 1 week in London marketing Kenya. We came back and I had the responsibility with the Kenya Investment Authority to coordinate the conference. So after 3 weeks, we kept on evaluating. We kept on evaluating up to 6 weeks to see how many investors had come to invest because of that particular conference. And I can tell you none. After all those efforts and the money that we spent. I have been a governor. I have been the chair of the Lake Region, the pioneer chair of the Lake Region Economic Bloc for the last 5 years before I handed over to Professor Anyang' Nyong. And we know our problems. Owalo was here, he lamented everything that we have not done. We complained about the structure of governance that we had. We devolved. Counties were established so that development is closer to the people. Where is the problem? Is devolution working? Because some of the issues that we are discussing here actually should be properly addressed by the devolved government. So the problem is within ourselves. The problem is within the leadership. When there was introduction here, how many leaders are here? When they called the MCS, how many MCS stood? When they called members of parliament, how many stood? Even when they called permanent secretaries, principal secretaries, you saw the number that was here. So we are talking to ourselves instead of talking to those people who matter. It is the leadership that is a problem. Thank you very much.
Some challenge there, thought-provoking. Well, I think I agree with you. We must do things differently. Yeah, I've only one more speaker, then I'll make my remarks and invite the Deputy President. Allow me at this stage to invite the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Investment, Trade and Industry, the Honorable Lee Kinyanjui. Karibu.
Thank you, CS. Deputy President, Professor Kindiki, governors here present, cabinet secretaries, PSAs, investors from this region, and everyone here, allow me to take this opportunity first to appreciate this conference. The outcomes of a conference are sometimes not in the number of people who come, but the decisions that are made. And in particular, we have come here to Nyanza to highlight the huge potential that exists. And I want to join my colleagues who have spoken before me to say that we have all that is needed for Nyanza to take off. If it's an airport, many counties don't even have an airstrip. You have an international one. You have a lake. You have an educated population. You have an English-speaking population. So these are huge things that we cannot overlook. And when I say English-speaking, I think it's also good to know the world is moving towards what you call business process outsourcing, where a company in Europe sets up a big center here. So if you want to call Land Rover UK, the call is picked here, and therefore things of language become important. So as custodians of the Queen's language, monetize that language, right? So in the interest of time, allow me to just make a few comments. I'm honored and delighted to be with you today during this Nyanza International Investment Conference 2025, and hope that even in the subsequent years, we'll do a follow-up to ensure that the issues that come here will be followed through. This international event represents the growth of Nyanza as a forward-thinking region that is part of the progress we seek to have as a nation. It also serves as a crucial platform for advancing dialogue, fostering innovation, and building the partnerships necessary to drive the next wave of economic transformation. I've had time to go through some of the stands that are here, and I want to request all the guests who are here to have time and see there, because there's a huge, huge, huge demonstration of capacity, even by counties. And I think so that the talk can now connect with what is exactly happening on the ground. This conference provides us with the opportunity to highlight investment opportunities and engage stakeholders on strategies to unlock the full economic potential of the region. Nyanza is endowed with diverse counties that each have the capacity to change the regional economics and contribute to Kenya's overall growth. I want to start with just the counties and highlight just one or two. Kisumu, led by our great Professor Nyang, is strategically located along Lake Victoria, which is home to two other big countries, but also a big market to Rwanda, DRC, and all the other countries, making it a natural hub for trade, manufacturing and logistics. With Kisumu Port serving as a key gateway for trade with the East African community, the county boasts a thriving manufacturing sector that includes sugar processing, fish processing, and dairy production. The government's initiative to establish the special economic zone in Kisumu is set to attract investors in agro-processing, logistics, textiles, and further strengthening the industrial base. Allow me also to say that if you look at Kisumu and compare with Mombasa from a tourism perspective, you can easily match what is in Mombasa in terms of air connectivity, and I'm very happy to see this facility in terms of adding to your capacity to host events, both local and international. So again, for tourism, people travel all the way to Dubai at 40 degrees, yet you have Kisumu here at the right temperature. So this is a challenge for the tourism sector, for the hospitality industry. And I think even us as government, as we come here, we are aware that we are here to support the local economy. Siaya County, led by our good governor here, Orengo, stands as an agricultural powerhouse, producing cotton, groundnuts, fish, and rice. And allow me to say that for groundnuts, we have a huge shortage. Most of the industries that require groundnuts as an input or as a raw material, we cannot be able to meet that demand, forcing us to even go to other neighboring countries, even up to West Africa, to get the groundnuts. And therefore, this is a challenge to the region to see how we can be able to take up that. And cotton, together with fish, also fall in the same category. The government is actively working to revive the cotton industry by investing in modern ginneries and modern manufacturing plants. And also to note that we are privatizing the textile company in Eldoret, and I think that is also going to be a major uptake for our cotton, that is Rivertex. At this point, efforts to expand the groundnut and rice value chains through establishment of processing factories are all underway. Coupled with a growing aquaculture sector, Siaya is becoming an ideal location for fish processing and cold storage facilities, and we'll work together with the counties to ensure that that is done. Homa Bay plays a leading role in the blue economy, with 80% of the lake being in that particular county. So with fishing, aquaculture, and lake transport as key economic activities, the county is poised for great strides ahead. It is also emerging as a huge potential for palm oil. We import over $100 million worth of palm oil every year, yet it can be grown here. And some of the areas where it can grow very well, and tests have proven, is actually Homa Bay. So we will be working and also looking for investors, and I mentioned that here also to interest those who may have large tracts of land and would want to get into partnerships with investors so that we can get into commercial plantations for palm oil. The development is expected to reduce our dependence on imported palm oil. And working together with Treasury, one of our core mandates is to reduce imports. And we have identified palm oil as one potential area. Migori County presents a diverse economic landscape driven by agriculture, mining, and agro-processing. With a well-developed sugarcane industry that supports multiple sugar mills, Migori is also a major producer of groundnuts, which you have already said we have a shortage. And its deposit in minerals such as gold and copper offer significant investment opportunities in gold refining, jewelry manufacturing, and mineral processing plants, promising an integrated industrial sector that can support this. And allow me to say that in some of our neighboring countries, the biggest export is actually minerals. In fact, we have seen with the challenges in some of our neighboring countries, minerals has gone up. So again, this is one area that can actually lift the whole country. Kisii County, led by our good governor, Simba Arati, is renowned for its world-class soapstone mining, a sector with immense potential for value addition and international exports. Beyond soapstone, Kisii is a leading producer of bananas, dairy products, and tea. Investments in banana processing plants, milk processing facilities, and mechanized soapstone extraction will create market opportunities and accelerate industrialization in the county and the region beyond. Then we also have Nyamira, which is a major producer of tea and coffee and dairy farming. And by expanding the processing facilities for tea and coffee, the county can increase product quality and global competitiveness. Additionally, investing in modern milk cooling processes will support Nyamira's growing dairy sector and improve incomes for local farmers. In conclusion, the region also presents a huge wealth of targeted investment opportunities across the whole value chain, whether you're thinking of tourism, logistics, and all that. And my prayer is that the professionals who are here today, including the business people who are here, we need to mobilize capital, because once we identify these opportunities, then we need to look for vehicles that can help us to invest and create value for our people. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to conclude by saying that the sugar industry, that is a major employer here, has had great improvements in the last 2 years. And I'm happy to say that this year we will not be importing any sugar. And we hope in the next 2 years we do not import, and instead the country can become an exporter of sugar. And that's a conversation we would want to do in tea, in wheat, and all the other products. And because our weather is generous, we can be able to work that together. So I do not want to say beyond that, just to comment one last issue on the industrial question. There has been talk that sometimes industries are closing in Kenya, or maybe the conditions are not too good. Allow me to say, when one industry closes, it's a headline. When 10 open, nobody talks about it. So in the coming weeks, we want to engage in highlighting the industries that have come in the last 3-4 years. And we will be coming here to Nyanza, working with the elected leaders, so that we don't end up giving perceptions that make our destination look unattractive and therefore less useful to the investors. I want to end there, and indeed to thank all of you and assure you that this is the beginning. Much more will happen when we move from here and look for those investors. May God bless Nyanza.
Thank you. Could we again give them a round of applause? Your Excellency, you can see I had a written speech, but certainly I'm not going to read this speech. I have no time left. I'll just take 2 minutes to say a word or two, and then I invite you. And I will start by saying that we have an opportunity. We have a great opportunity. We have had occasions when we spoke of lack of opportunities for this region. But at the moment, those my colleagues from this region, you'll agree with me that this is an opportunity that is very rare to have. This is an opportunity that probably we only enjoyed during the Grand Coalition government, and now we have it. It is how we take advantage of this opportunity. I don't want to elaborate. You understand exactly what I mean. The Honorable Eliud Owalo has enumerated a number of projects. And by the way, as we showcase Nyanza to the private investors, there are certain things that the government must do, both the national government and the county governments, to provide that environment for investment. And that is what political leadership must engage their minds to make sure that we realize the full potential of this region. And I want to thank the organizers of this event, led by Jeff Olendi, who have worked tirelessly to make it a reality. Now, what should we do as a government? And that is where I'm going to end. Every one of us, we seated here, in one way or the other, we know what needs to be done for this region to unlock its potential. We have a number of projects that, if done, some we call regional projects, some may be county specific, but are also still beneficial to the region. I don't want to go into the details, but just allow me to pick a few, 3 or 4. If we have to unlock the full potential of this region, there are certain projects that must be done. One of them is the Lake Victoria Ring Road. That must be done to open up completely this region and interconnect it and even connect it to the region. We must also complement that with lake transport. I am happy, Your Excellency, that Kenya Shipyards Limited is already constructing a ferry. We want more ferries. That ferry will be ready most likely in June and July, procured by the national government. We want lake transport to connect Busia with Migori, Muhuru, with Urumouko. The other project is we must extend SGR from Naivasha to Kisumu and to Malava. These are projects that we must do. The other one is Korusoin Dam. That dam also will be a game changer, not just to Nyanza, even Rift Valley. Kericho will benefit substantially and greatly from that dam. We have talked about it for years. A time has come to actualize this. Finally, Your Excellency, if you are coming to Kisumu, should anything happen at the Ahero Bridge, you cannot access the western part of this country. And therefore, this road, which was started, the Mamboleo Muhoroni Road, which has 3 contractors on the road, which has basically stalled. As we speak, we are looking for money, and very soon, I think in the next 1 month or so, we'll pay those 3 contractors to resume work so that that road is constructed. I have highlighted that. I didn't want to repeat what the Honorable Wallo has said, but Your Excellency, I want to just inform this conference that I have been holding meetings with the county leaderships from this former province of Nyanza. We have met with the leadership from Siaya County led by the governor. We have met with the leadership of Kisumu County led by Professor Nyang' Nyong'o, the governor. We have met with the leadership from Migori from Mutembei led by Gladys Wanga. I have lined up meetings with Migori County next week. After that, Simbarati will come with his team, we meet, and then Nyaribo from Nyamira. So that when we put together what we need to put in our budgetary provisions, because if we talk and there is no budgetary provisions for this project, it will just be a talk show. What I'm requesting, Your Excellency, is your support and the support of my cabinet colleagues as we try to balance development across the country. We should be alive to the fact that this region has faced marginalization for decades. Thank you very much. The honorable delegates, allow me now, put your hands together. If you can rise, please. We welcome His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Thank you very much.
First, I apologize. I think we've taken longer than we ought to have taken. And I'll take you from what my brother C.S. Mbadi has done. I'll also not read a speech, because we all know what needs to be done. The problem with the developing world is we like talking to ourselves and talking all the time. We have very few people doing things, and we know what we need to do. And every speaker who comes here will just say the same things. The same things. I will share. I have given myself maximum 20 minutes, which I want to share equally with the governors, because I thought it's also important for a forum like this for each of the governors to say something in a minute or two. And I hope they will not read speeches like the ministers did. Yeah, because this is not the time. Every governor has an opportunity to speak for 3 hours, 2 hours, every day in your county and organizing forums. So allow me just to say, therefore, now that I don't have a speech, I feel very honored to be part of this meeting. I have come here to represent President Ruto, who sends his greetings. He would have wanted to come. He was in Nyanza recently, he was in Western recently, and he thought because he hasn't been to Northeastern since he became president, it was important to spend some time in Northeastern. He's been there for 4 days, he's concluding today in his... And you'll allow me, exactly 2 o'clock I have to leave, because again I have to see him off. He's leaving for Dar es Salaam because of the Congo issue. The EAC and SADC is meeting today, tomorrow in Dar es Salaam. Having said that, mine is just to thank you for a good conference, well organized, well structured. We expected this from Nyanza, the headquarters of professionals and professors and very intelligent people. God has blessed this region with brilliant people who have impacted tremendously to the development of our country. So this is a good conference. I plead with you next time, let's not blame each other, involve more leaders. the members of parliament from here, the members of county assembly, and even representatives of community, people who may not be very learned, but they can pick an issue or two from a conference like this one. Having said that also, let me just spend the remainder of my minutes explaining what this administration is doing to revive and transform the economy of Kenya, empower its citizens, including its citizens in Nyanza. We have a manifesto with about 168 commitments. But you can aggregate all those commitments to 5 broad areas which carry the weight of our national transformation. The first one is macroeconomic stability. For the last 2 years, a lot of unseen work has been done to arrest the volatility of the indicators of macroeconomic stability. We can talk about investments, we can talk about all these sectors, but if the fundamentals of macroeconomic stability go haywire, we lose everything. Many a times, for those of us who are from Kenya Kwanza political alignment, when we speak about the last 2 years' work on macroeconomic stability, sometimes we are misunderstood as if we are casting aspersions at the previous administration. Nothing can be further from the truth than that. What affected Kenya's macroeconomic stability was mainly the pandemic of 2020-2021, which was a global pandemic. For a year and a half, we were all shut in, we were simply locked up in our houses. There was no economic activity. Businesses were shut. You can imagine, in my previous role, the last 2 years as the Interior Minister, when we used to have a little problems, what I would call democratic stress, sometimes in our exercise of democracy, especially here in Kisumu, but also Nairobi and other parts of the country, businesses being shut in Kisumu or Nairobi for a day, if you quantify the economic cost, it's huge. So you can imagine Kenya being shut for a year or a year and a half. That is what put us in a hole. It is not the previous administration. It was something beyond the control of any government. Today, the indicators of macroeconomic stability are looking okay, thanks to the hard work of Professor Ndungu, P.S. Kipto, and the senior team in Treasury, because it is about the strength of the shilling. It is about interest rates. It's about inflation. It is about the cost of fuel. It is about the cost of food and other household commodities. If those 5 variables are escalating, it doesn't matter what economic interventions you make, the country's transformation will be delayed. And therefore, I want to take this opportunity to thank CS Mbadi and the team and the Treasury. They have done a tremendous job in the last few months to steady and build on what has already been done. And I want to plead with you, my brother CS Mbadi, and you know you have the support of President Ruto, and all of us, your colleagues, we support you. Do whatever it takes to make sure that the stability and the strength of the Kenyan shilling, interest rates, inflation, cost of fuel, and cost of food and essential commodities do not reverse, because we will lose everything, whatever it takes. So that is the foundation, and people don't see these abstract things, because it's like building a house. You first to dig the foundation. Anybody passing by will not see anything, but a lot of work needs to be done, sometimes you dig many feet, many meters downwards so that you can be able to put up a high-rise building. Number two, if we keep an eye on the macroeconomic stability, we must transform the sectors that carry the value chains from where the majority of the people of Kenya derive their income and livelihoods. I repeat, if the macroeconomic stability is guaranteed, the next issue for us in this region and for Kenya is to make sure the national government and county governments transform positively the sectors which carry 80–90% of the people of Kenya from where they derive their livelihoods. These are sectors in agriculture, the value chains in agriculture, livestock development, the blue economy, and mining, period. If you look at how many Kenyans get their daily bread from some form of agriculture, some form of livestock or pastoral, livestock-related economic activity, fisheries and the blue economy, you'll have touched Kenya almost entirely. That's why we are working on sugar. Time will not give us to tell you the milestones you've made in sugar, tea, coffee. We are working on rice, cotton, all these value chains, the oil crops, etc., cotton and so forth. And then you go to livestock, the entire northern Kenya, upper, eastern. You go to blue economy, the entire coastal counties and Lake Victoria counties in western and Nyanza areas. And then mining in between there, because mining is quite a precious part of the real sector that can take the country to the next level. So if we transform those sectors where the majority of the people of Kenya derive their livelihoods, we are good to go. We have our priorities, we need what we need to do. Between national government and county governments, we know what interventions are pending. Number three, our priority in this administration is to transform and improve the support infrastructure that realizes this transformation of the sectors which I have already identified. What is the support infrastructure that helps us transform agriculture and livestock and fisheries and blue economy and mining? It is roads, it is electricity, or PO&I, it is ICT, okay? It is the infrastructure we are building to support businesses. The infrastructure we are creating to support the micro and small and medium enterprises. It is the KIPES that we are establishing, one per county, the county aggregation and industrial parks. It is the special economic zones, the 5 of them that we are racing against time to not only complete but also operationalize. It is the affordable and social housing program. That infrastructure, ICT, the KIPES, the special economic zones, water, electricity, ICT, will help revitalize these value chains that bring wealth to the people of Kenya. Number 4, it is job creation. We have all said in so many words that one of the challenges we must confront as leaders of Kenya at all levels is the need to empower especially the youth by creating more jobs. Alfred and the team there and the county government, I'm sure, are doing a good job as well. And we are attacking joblessness and job creation from all fronts. You've heard Alfred summarize it, kazi kwa ground. Any work available, even if it's a short-term job, is better than no job at all. Even if it's a job for a month or 2 months or 6 months or a year, is better than no job at all. Because by the time that young person finishes under the affordable and social housing programs, there will be either another project or another job opportunity somewhere. Instead of our youths spending times in marketplaces, waiting to be paid 100 shillings by a politician to heckle their rival. We are creating jobs through the ICT, online jobs, digital jobs, kazi mtandaoni, and then we have programs for creating jobs abroad. Our young people want to travel, work abroad, save, invest it, and also come back in the country later on, are welcome to go and venture there and work, because there are people born in Kisumu, but they work in Mombasa. They are still sons and daughters of Kisumu. They come home maybe at the end of the year. What is the difference between a son or a daughter of Kisumu working in Mombasa and the one working in London and Dubai? They all come home at the end of the year. And maybe the fellow from London or Dubai may get here faster and quicker than the person working in Mombasa or Lamu, for that matter. So job creation is a big item, and we are leaving nothing to chance. If you can create a few more jobs, it is better, because you're reducing the numbers of young people who feel frustrated because we have not created enough opportunities for them. We are also creating jobs through the housing program, the climate works program. We are still hiring in the public sector. We are expanding the private sector to accommodate more jobs. And we are also having programs like the programs we are having under Nyota, under the youth ministry and others. Time will not allow me to enumerate everything. The last pillar of transforming Kenya in the shortest time is in the software that delivers on the 4 issues I have mentioned. I said macroeconomic stability. I also talked about value chains that carry the majority of the people in terms of incomes and wealth. Number 3, it is the support infrastructure in the many ways I've explained. Number 4 is job creation. Lastly, for us to realize our destiny as a nation, as a region, as counties, as Kenya, we must take 2 social variables very important. One is health, and the other one is education. If you have an educated, healthy population, then all the other pillars will be realized. That's why this administration is going out of its way to ensure that the universal health coverage for Kenya, Taifa Care, works. Many countries across the world have struggled with universal health coverage with very limited success. Even in the United States, when they succeeded with Obamacare, the Supreme Court moderated what it would have become. It's not an easy thing. But this government is persuaded that you need a healthy population, and we are spending a lot of money, and middle class is almost getting impoverished because of Harambes, because of relatives who are doing Harambes. People and families are selling property, they are selling cars, they are selling land to finance health. We need more people with an insurance card, a health insurance card. It may be less than perfect, but it's better than no card at all. We are working on perfecting the imperfections in Taifa Care, but it's better that way than a person who has no access to any medical cover. We had 9 million Kenyans who are insured since independence until now. In the last 3 months, we have doubled the number of people who now have some form of health insurance to 18+ million Kenyans. We want to scale up that to 30, 40, 50 million. It's not easy. President Kibaki had this in his manifesto. The same politics hits that program and frustrated it. He pulled back. President Uhuru in his second term had the same. The Big 4 agenda, UHC was one of them. The same politics came and truncated the program. President Uhuru pulled back. This time round we have said we will fight through to make sure we get universal health coverage through, even at the expense of our popularity. If that is what will affect the popularity of President Ruto, so be it. Because what defines a leader is not how many hours or days or years they have been in office. Is the take home, what they leave behind when they leave office after a certain number of years. So we are very clear in our minds that that is a national priority, and also education reforms. That's why we are strengthening CBC, we are investing in more teachers, and we are also addressing funding of higher education to make sure that as many as possible of the children of Kenya get access to affordable, relevant, quality education. So those are our priorities. Everything in between, we will do it. We've heard what are the priorities for this region. The 2 dams, one here between Kericho and Kisumu, the other one in Nyamira, Magwagwa Then there are some flagship factories like the sweet potato one in Korea. I was taking notes, and I take notes everywhere I go, because that's the only way you are able to at least account. I must account for coming here, and I must carry home what the people of Nyanza want from national government. Between myself and my colleagues, cabinet colleagues, and the entire team, I want to promise you, the 9 or so priorities which have been repeated here, the ring road, I don't know, the 2 dams, the factory, the abattoir, we will go out of our way to make sure that we do them. So that we can now, even if we don't achieve everything, we can say we've done this percentage of the commitments we had made. With those many remarks, I declare this conference officially open on behalf of President Ruto. And I want to request Professor Nyang'o, my academic senior and former colleague in the Senate, who is now Governor of Kisumu, to tell us how the governors will organize themselves. 2 minutes each just to tell us something. Professor Nyang'o, you have the floor. Thank you very much.